Wait for a few minutes, guys. As I said, like it will start from 3 o'clock. I will start from 3 o'clock. Which Chattopadhyay is from Tarakeshwar? Orko or somebody else?
Yes, sir.
You are from Tarakeshwar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, it's already 1 past 3. As I promised, like today I would start types of production systems. I also mentioned the input process, throughput, output, and then monitoring and control system, how a manufacturing process works or production process works. And the output is basically sellable products or maybe the output for the internal consumption. There may be profits, all those things. There are certain factors based on which we classify the production system. First, the type of the product. What type of product are you producing? Are you producing a microwave oven, or a dishwasher or a washing machine or air conditioner? Or are you producing a thermal power plant? Are you producing ships? So based on that, we can classify the production system. The second factor is type of product line or production line. Means in your factory, what are the productions, what are the products that you are producing? Like Whirlpool produces microwave oven. They they produ- they produce air conditioner, and they produce dishwasher. They produce washing machine. So they have a line, product line. So some parts of all the products that they produce are interchangeable, standardized. So it's a mix of kind of assembly line and job shop production, uh, mass production, batch production. Okay. Rate of production, at which rate are you producing? Are you producing one piece a day, uh, 1 lakh pieces a day, or is it taking a few years to produce a job like a nuclear power plant? A few years. So based on that, we can classify. The fourth factor is equipment used for production. Which equipments we are using? Is it manual, automatic, semi-automatic? Uh, can it do multiple tasks, or is it product specific, process specific? So based on that. Now, based on the four factors, broadly the production system are classified like job shop production, number one, number two, batch production, number three, mass production, and number four, process production. Job production, batch production, mass production, and process production. Yes. Yeah. When there will be some illustrations, I will show you the board. All right. And you'll get the class note right after the class. Okay. Job production, it is made to satisfy a specific order. It is either produce either produce only once or at irregular intervals as and when new orders arise, or at regular intervals to satisfy a continuous demand. Only once means you have a piece of land somewhere in Murshidabad, say, lots of land, and the soil or clay quality is good, so you thought to uh, build your own brick for your house, the or holiday home, whatever you call it. Uh, so that is you hired a contractor for producing bricks on your own land, and that is a one-time job, so only once. Uh, Regular interval at irregular intervals means it's kind of the brick manufacturing shops, right? As and when they come, or the tailoring shops, they are very busy during the puja days, but you know, sometimes they are busy, sometimes they are not during other periods of time of the year. So it's a tailoring shop is a job shop production. Uh, and regular time intervals. If you go to a grill manufacturing shop for your doors, windows, and etc., you'll see lots of work is done. I mean, some are partially done, some are half done, some are fully done. They are working for shipping it. So they are full of orders, but so they produce at regular intervals. Important characteristics: machines and methods employed should be general purpose as product changes are quite frequent. Because the shape, design, size, material, etc. may be different for your choice in your house for grills than for others. So, machines and methods employed should be general purpose and products are quite frequent. Planning and control system should be flexible enough to deal with frequent changes in the product requirement. Manpower should be skilled enough to deal with changing work conditions. And schedules are actually non-existent in this system as no definite data is available on the product. In process inventory will be high as accurate plans and schedules do not exist. If you go to a grill manufacturing shop, you will see lots of iron rods, steel rods, bars, channels, etc. are dumped. Okay, their in-process inventory is very high. Schedules are actually non-existent. Product cost normally very high because high material and labor cost. If you order a grill, the material cost, steel, today's mild steel, or stainless steel even sometimes, very expensive. Apart from that, they charge high labor value, labor cost. So material and labor cost is high, and so the product cost is also high. Grouping of the machine is done on functional basis. Grouping of the machine on functional basis. Like the lathe machine, one place, all the lathe machines are in one place, milling machines are in one place, shaping machines are in one place. You have all done Blue Earth Machine Shop in your first year, I understand. And material handling systems are also flexible to meet changing product requirements. Flexibility comes from manual process. If you are flexible, then you follow the manual process. The more you transform into automation, the manual process reduces. So flexibility reduces. Okay. The next is batch production. Batch production is the manufacture of number of identical articles, either to meet a specific order or to meet continuous demand. So identical, you have to focus on that identical product, identical articles like the nuts and bolts, fasteners, right? Even the cable, copper cable. So it can be produced only once or repeatedly at irregular intervals or repeatedly at regular intervals. Batch production is deployed in pharmaceutical companies, paint manufacturing companies, assortment of steel parts manufacturing, bakeries like Britannia, Milk Biscuit, thin arrowroot biscuit, or whatever you call it, all those bakeries. Not the local bakeries, I am saying. Yeah, local bakeries also follow the batch production. The basic idea is the same, but the larger manufacturers go for automation mode compared to manual process. The characteristics are, as the final product is somewhat standardized and manufactured in batches, economies of scale can be availed to some extent. So economies of scale means the more you produce, the lesser is the average cost of production. Okay. Machines are grouped on functional basis based similar to the job shop production manufacturing. And semi-automatic, special purpose automatic machines are generally used to take advantage of similarity among the products. So they are now talking about MSME and even larger companies. Okay. Labor should be skilled enough to work upon different product batches. Skilled enough. Focus on enough. Not super skilled, but skilled enough. because some automation is there. In-process inventory is usually very high owing to type of layout and material handling policies adopted. Semi-automatic material handling system are most appropriate in conjunction with the semi-automatic machines. And normally production planning and control is difficult due to the odd size and non-repetitive nature of the order. So that is batch process. Also in the brick production, it is a batch process. Baker is batch process because of the size of the oven and size of the tray. Next is mass production. We produce in mass, standardized products, and particularly applied for assembly line production. Assembly line like motor cars, household appliance. So assembly line products, television set, they are all assembly line products. Ford Motor Company actually popularized the term mass production in 1926, and in under assembly line products, some parts are manufactured in-house. So those productions may be job shop productions, maybe batch productions. So those are basically inputs. But in assembly line, many components or parts are actually purchased from outside. Means there are sub vendors who manufacture the products. Characteristics: as the same product is manufactured for sufficiently long time, machines can be laid down in order of processing sequence, and product type layout is most appropriate for mass production system. Standard methods and machines are used during the part manufacturing. During the part manufacturing, standard methods and machines. So it may be job shop manufacturing. Okay. Most of the equipments are semi-automatic or automatic in nature, mostly automatic and semi-automatic, depending on. Like car manufacturing in India is semi-automatic in combination with automatic, but in Japan it is probably 90% automatic process. Okay. Semi-skilled workers are normally employed as most of the facilities are automatic. As product flows along a predetermined line, planning and control of the system is much easier. Cost of production is low owing to high rate of production, and work in progress is low as production scheduling is simple and can be implemented with ease. Now, the layout of the mass production looks like this. So here is machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, machine 4, machine 5, machine 6, machine 7, machine 8, machine 9, and machine 10. This is a conveyor belt. This U-shaped line is a conveyor belt or conveyor chain. Okay. Every machine has a specific task to do. It's not flexible. It does every machine, like machine number 1 does a specific job. It cannot do the job of machine 2. Okay. So every machine is for a specific purpose, specific operation. It's not flexible. It's inflexible. Okay. So once, say for the motor car, four-wheeler, say input here, only a chassis. You get only a chassis, and then the assembly starts. Assembly starts, second assembly, third assembly, fourth assembly, fifth assembly, and so on. And final output is your complete car. Final output is your complete car. Okay. The stoppage time the conveyor belt or chain moves, right? The stoppage time everywhere will be equal and will be determined by the longest operation time of a particular machine. Suppose there are 10 machines and machine number 4 has the longest operating time. Machine number 4 has the longest operating time. So then, for every machine, the conveyor belt or chain will stop for that time, say 10 minutes. So everywhere it will stop for 10 minutes or whatever. Okay. And then it will move, and then again for 10 minutes, and then it will move again like this. Now, individual products, the electricity is gone here. For every, see, assembly means you are joining the parts. So that part may be manufactured through job shop production or mass or batch production, separately somewhere, inside the plant or outside the plant. Ancillaries, in motor automobile industry, there are ancillaries. Okay. Is this part understood or do I need to repeat? Mechanical and production understands it better because they deal with it mostly. But there is nothing difficult in it. Once you go through facility planning, it will be easier to understand then. Okay. The last process is process production or continuous production. Under this production system, the product is produced continuously 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, without any stoppage, provided there is no breakdown or maintenance requirement of the plant. Can you name one product? Continuously 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Electricity.
Somebody said what? Shaugato? Shaugato
I mean,
Krishna?
I mean, yes, sir. I mean, the machines. I mean, the electrical machines, sir, doing the
Like
24-hour day.
power plant,
Power plant.
electricity production,
Yes.
365 days a year. If there is no breakdown or require maintenance, right? You get electricity 365 days. The CSC wants to run their plant 365 days a year. I mean, there are a few units, they shut down for annual maintenance, one unit at a time, and then they start the unit and then they go to the second unit and so. But it's a continuous or process production. Cement manufacturing, sugar manufacturing, steel manufacturing, then oil refineries, they are all continuous production. Okay, continuously they produce. So products are not discrete. You cannot differentiate. Can you differentiate coal and water from electron flows. No, you cannot differentiate because they are all separate. Coal used to generate heat. Heat uh, heat heats up water. Steam is produced. That steam is flowing to the turbine. Turbine is the mover, right? It moves the alternator. Alternator creates the electricity, the flow of electrons, right? And then you have in what did you say? Transformers, and then electron flows through wires, bare wires, right? So the product is discrete. You cannot find out the initial input products. Dedicated plant and equipment with zero flexibility. Dedicated plant and equipment. And flexibility is zero. Like turbine will rotate only. Turbine will not do anything else. Alternator will create electricity, nothing else. Right? Dedicated plant and equipment. Transformer, step up, those work, right? Depending on. Okay, material handling is fully automated. Okay, in a power plant, if you have visited CSC or some other places, coal is handled to a conveyor belt, and then water is there. Water flows through tubes and pipes, and then steam, and the steam flows to the turbine. Turbine rotates. I described it to you. Okay, material handling is fully automated. Process flows a predetermined sequence of operations. Same for the power plant, like coal and then water and the steam and the steam turbine or alternator. So process flow is sequential. Component material cannot be readily identified with the final product. I mentioned it. Planning and scheduling is a routine action, very routine action. What are you going to plan? It is automatic process. 365 days, we do the same thing 24 hours a day. So there is no planning per se. Planning will always be there, but little planning, not much planning. Product differentiation is limited. Okay, involves high initial investment, capital intensive process. Low to semi-skilled labor force, standardization of products and process sequence, high rate of production, very high rate of production. That is why we call it, high capacity utilization. In a power plant, they measure the capacity utilization. Okay, it is a 500 megawatt power plant is supposed to produce 500 megawatt, but at what megawatt it is running and why? If it is due to the lower requirement, then that's okay. But if it is due to some other reasons, then hey, we are not utilizing our capacity fully well. Manpower is not required for material handling, and unit cost is low due to very high volume of production. So that's basically types of production systems. Now I'll move over to MRP. MRP is Material Requirements Planning. The next chapter will be on inventory management, EOQ, EPQ. They are all reactive. Reactive means as if we assume that the order is fixed. Annual order is fixed, and we sell as and when at a continuous rate in a day or a week, whatever is the time frame. We continuously sell it or use it internally. And then as soon as the inventory level becomes zero, we get the replenishment, full replenishment. But that is a reactive process, simplicity. But high value items like the industrial products, like the automobile industry or other industries, especially for assembly line products, we need lean and thin inventory process. Lean and thin. We don't want to tie up a lot of money in inventories. In economics, while doing balance sheet, you will know what inventory is in terms of rupee value. So Uh, that subject also be taught by me, engineering economics and costing. Uh, so what we do there in capital intensive uh, assembly line process, we try to manage inventory through the vendors. And that's where MRP, material requirement planning, comes into the picture. And we need the inventory as and when we need it for assembly line, not you know, not 1 month before the time of production. Okay. The objectives of MRP: a reduction in inventory cost by providing the right quantity of material at the right time to meet the master production schedule. MRP tries to avoid the cost of excessive inventory. Meeting delivery schedule. Delivery schedule should be met, otherwise there will be loss in money. Orders may be cancelled, right? Uh, or money today is different from money tomorrow, money value, the rate of interest and inflation. So the sooner you get the money, the better it is for you. So you have to meet the delivery schedule. MRP helps in there and improve performance by streamlining the production process and minimizing the unplanned interruptions. MRP focuses on having all components available at the right place in right quantity at the right time. Now, how does it work? There is the illustration process. Okay. MRP, the initial file here is Master Production Schedule, MPS. Production schedule means production inside the factory or workshop. Suppose Blue Art Machine Shop is a production shop. Okay, we produce certain material, pumps and this, that, and all those things. Final year students produce pumps. So there is a master production schedule. Okay, that this week this production will go on, that week that production will go on, and so on and so forth. If it is on a weekly basis, if the cycle time for production of a product is say 1 week, so then we go like that. Or if it is a continuous process, continuous means it's not a continuous process, say assembly line, it depends daily basis. Okay. So that schedule, actually say, take the example of a car manufacturer or motor vehicle companies. The dealers take the order and they feed to the manufacturer. So that feeding goes to the master production schedule. So this software produces the production schedule. The main software here is materials requirement planning. It's a module of the organizational management system, like we have Zooms for Jadavpur University Management System. Similarly, they have it, and this is a module of that. So materials requirement planning database. Now, materials planning requirement database take inputs from master production schedule. Once they get the master production schedule, they try to find out what do we need for manufacture. That comes from BOM firstly. What do we need? Bill of materials. You'll be acquainted with bill of materials once you join a company, either in purchase or in sales, design, repair, maintenance. You'll come across bill of materials. Because bill of materials is nothing but you have a drawing. What are the parts? What are the specifications? What are the sizes? So those are given, and how many numbers? Those are given in bill of materials. Suppose you have a motor, induction motor. 96% motors are basically induction motors in the world. Am I correct or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So say if you show a motor, you have to show the cross section to show the windings inside and outside. I mean, rotor and the stator itself, right? And the bearings, so on and so forth. So those things will be there in bill of materials. Number one, shaft, motor shaft, one number. Okay, this is the quality, and sketch number, so and so. Okay, and the specific material specification in particularly metallurgy. So they will also show in bill of material. Without bill of material, you cannot manufacture anything. So now you know how many and what you need. Then you check inventory availability status. Inventory availability status means it's an in-house inventory availability. As I told you, the purpose of the MRP is to reduce inventory. To streamline the process and to maintain or shorten the schedule. How many we have? What is the shortfall? So that shortfall information and when we need shall be gone to the vendor. And vendor manages the inventory. And accordingly, vendor will supply. But The output, planned order release. Planned order release to the vendor as well as to the factory. Planned order release. Order rescheduled. When doing release means not officially received, it's not a stamp, it's an information in advance. It's an information in advance, it's not a stamped one. That okay, go ahead. Okay. Order rescheduling means the customer may cancel, so then you have to reschedule with another order. Customer may delay, then you have to reschedule it with another order, with the order that is after that, the cancelled, the delayed order. A customer may want it immediately, or faster, or sooner, whatever you call it. Then you have to again reschedule. After rescheduling, planned order receipts. Planned orders are received, basically stamped one, are gone to the vendors as well as the factory. So that is basically the MRP process. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next topic would be EOQ, EPQ. So that is another, that will take a longer time and mathematical and derivations are there. So I'll start next week. Next week for one class will take just the description of what is EOQ, what is inventory, and then the two consecutive classes, exactly 7 days after today, there will be derivations and some mathematics, numerical problem solving of EOQ, and then the week after next there will be EPQ. I will address those two only, and then there are other things that I will not consider because I have to move to another chapter. Probably I'll move to economics after that numerical chapter. I will move to economics, and then I will come back to industrial management again, and then switch back to financial accounting. So that way. So I'll take a screenshot. Yes, I have. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.